Yeah, fourth week, about a month since the storm. I don't know. Kind of feels like it was yesterday, but it also feels like it was like 5 years ago.
It's kind of a Mike and Tom
It's
show, isn't
just,
it?
I guess so.
So tonight we're going to talk about real estate, what's going on, what we're experiencing, market snapshot, and insurance. Something insurance you should know. A lot of people don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions out there, a lot of unanswered things out there that people don't know, and what they think is not totally true. That they need to understand. 50% rule, still a lot
Yeah,
to
a lot of people don't understand that.
still a lot to figure out there. Fort Myers Beach might have something different than Sanibel.
Yeah,
Sanibel might have something different than Cape Coral. So, a lot to figure out there. But let's jump right into the real estate, the market, um, and some of the things that we're experiencing right now. Multiple offers, you said.
yeah, and you're seeing the rest of the country, high interest rates, inventory popping up, all that kind of stuff. But we're kind of like in our own little bubble here now because I haven't heard anybody complaining about interest rates.
Now, I haven't heard the term interest
I
rate
haven't even
even
heard
come
about
up.
it. I haven't
So
heard about it.
a lot of cash buyers out there. So multiple offers. So we got a little boost in the market from this
Yeah,
storm, and that's what traditionally happens after hurricanes. You get a little
yeah,
bit of a bump in the market, and naturally from this one, I
yeah.
think it's going to be that way for a while with, um, the
Right.
construction and
And
everything
you're
and
getting
high
multiple
demand.
offers on homes that are severely damaged by the hurricane because you got a
Yeah,
lot of investors in here. But then you're also getting multiple offers on new product stuff that wasn't damaged by the storm very much.
yeah.
So it's still very price sensitive, but you price it right, you're going to get multiple bids. Likely, depending on where you're at, though, there's certain segments of the market that aren't getting that though.
Buyer makeup on this. What I've seen a lot personally, people being displaced from Sanibel, buying in areas like Gulf Harbor that are close to Sanibel.
Right.
That market's on fire. We'll touch on that in a minute. Lots of cash buyers we just talked about also. I think in this market, with how hot it is in some of these areas, you better be cash because we got multiple offers
Yeah,
coming in.
I've had a poor buyer that has to stay 2 hours away for work right now, and we lost three deals last
Yeah,
week. All to cash buyers. We wrote the offers up as good as we possibly could, financed and even over list, and they went with the cash.
yeah. So then I've found also too, people are starting to pause a little bit, not with buying, but just, with people thinking about what I should do with my home that was maybe 50% or more destroyed, or not even 50% destroyed, but maybe it's on a lot that's looked at as more of a lot
Right.
than an older home that might have been torn down in the future anyway.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of these people, like regardless of the 50% rule or whatever, they're just and it's a smart thing to do. Get the wet drywall, get all the stuff out,
Yeah.
and then you can decide later. But get that nasty stuff out of your house
If
because
you
that's
haven't
going to
gotten
turn
that
in.
out,
Yeah, that's already a mold
it's a
problem.
mold problem already. I went into one the other day and they only had a couple inches of water, but they didn't tear out any drywall, no baseboard, and I walked out of there with a headache.
Yeah.
So I think that the mold happens quick. I mean, some of the things I've gone into, I went into one the other day and looked up at the ceiling and it's just black, and I'm like, going, what the heck am I doing in this place?
Yeah, I mean, you actually have to sign hold harmless agreements to see a lot of these homes now
Yeah,
because of the
yeah,
unknowns in the
yeah.
house or, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I think those are some of the things that are going on. I just got off the phone with a builder. I was going to call my brother. He's head of Lennar. Darren McMurray's his name. Great leader out there with Lennar. But talked to Mark Baraball at MAB Homes. We had a shortage, a problem with materials before. We have a problem with help, contractors. We already had that problem. Now it's just escalated.
Yep. I mean, Cape Coral permitting, Sanibel permitting, all that kind of stuff. I mean, the process before the storm was pretty long.
Yeah.
So I've heard a couple of those people have kind of hired a little bit extra help and stuff like that. So hopefully they'll be able to handle the
And
volume.
most of the contractors out there, especially like on Sanibel or areas that have been hurt the most, Pine Island, St. James, it's not really about putting the home back yet. It's about mitigating it, remediating it so that we don't have any further damage with mold.
Right.
So it's ripping it all out, putting it out to the street. Those piles are starting to be picked up in a lot of areas, but they might have another pile coming right behind it, from
Right.
what I'm told, especially if they can't build back.
Yeah, and right now I think FEMA gives us like 60 days to get all the trash picked up, and it's on their bill. After those 60 days, if we don't get an extension,
Yeah.
that's why you're having Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach shutting down the public traffic Monday and Tuesday, even contractors.
Yeah.
It's just government cleanup crews and stuff
Sanibel's
like
on that too. Next
Yeah.
week they start that Monday and Tuesday. It's not for just everyday people. It's for
Right.
the workers and
you
power
have people
people and all
complaining
that.
about that on one hand, and on the other hand, there's just so much traffic that the trucks need to get in and out.
Well, and
get
they
the
need
stuff
to
out
get
of
the
here.
work done so we
Yeah.
can get back up. So market snapshot. Oh, I talked to Mark Bearball. Shortages of materials. Meters.
Yep.
A lot of meters got wet. Breakers got wet. There's a shortage of breakers.
Yeah.
There's a shortage of meters. If you have a 400 amp service, it's 23 weeks wait.
They
So
said some of it's even 12. It's at least a 12-week wait for whatever. you
yeah,
have,
so people aren't thinking about that.
Yeah.
Meters were already a problem. My brother at Lennar said, they were, meters were, backlogged already. Shortage of that. So
Yeah,
those are
imagine-
things that people aren't thinking about.
And imagine roofing materials
Yeah.
when you see a blue roof on about every single house in the neighborhood. So that's a new roof going on each one. And,
Yeah.
they hadn't even caught up from Irma yet.
Yeah,
They were just starting to
appliances
catch up.
appliances were a problem before, and now they're a bigger problem now. So market snapshot. Want to come back to Gulf Harbor in Fort Myers because we're seeing a lot of activity in there, and there's other activity outside there. But Gulf Harbor is an interesting market. It's a gated community. You've got prices anywhere from $325 up to $3 million that have been selling. We've had 20 sales in there. Not we personally. We've had about 4 or 5. I think we've had 5 in there. So out of the 20, at least we've had 5 out of the 20. So not bad for
That's since the
McMurray
storm.
members.
Under contract since the storm.
Since the storm.
I mean, it's just crazy.
So 20 properties went under contract since the storm. 325 to 3 million have been purchased since the storm, and the prices are moving up in value. So what you may have bought at 489 is maybe now 550. So if you own a Gulf Harbor condominium, give us a call.
Yeah, especially if you're not using it.
And make sure you're selling at the highest price you possibly can, for the market where it's going. Again, that'll settle down too, but it's always going to be a great rental market too. So Gulf Harbor, just a snapshot of the market. There are sales going on. And then moving up with every sale, the prices. Tom, insurance is a topic that we talked about last Thursday on our live with Dave Arter with Private Client, which is a great group that does insurance. One of the things I was talking to a client the other day, they said, Mike, we got a mortgage. We got some money that we're going to get back from the insurance company, but they don't get the check. It's a 2-party check.
Yep.
The bank has to sign off on that check too. So if you've got a mortgage and maybe your property and its price and the 50% rule, things like that, there's a lot to think about. A lot of people think, yeah, I'm going to get a check. No, it's not just your check, it's the bank's
Yeah,
check too.
there probably is strings attached to that check. Like if you're getting that to replace your house, then you're either using that to repair your home or you're using that to buy a new home. You can't just take that and go on a vacation.
You're not using that to buy a new home. You're either using that to replace or repair your home, improve your home from the damage, or you're using that check to most likely pay down the mortgage.
Right.
But
it has to be used for that reason. You can't
Yeah.
just go on vacation.
and also buy another property with that check.
Right.
It's for that property specific and that mortgage specific. A lot of people don't understand that. Same thing with the 50% rule. There's a lot of people that have bought these ground level homes in areas that are prone to flood, that you need in flood insurance, and they had no idea about the 50% rule. No idea. And I'm very surprised about that because whenever I've sold a ground level home in areas like Sanibel, Fort Myers, along the river, you always talk about ground level homes, the build back of that home if it
Right.
was more than 50% destroyed. So again, we touched on 50%. If you don't have an updated appraisal just before the storm, because I don't think it goes after the storm. I think it's just before the storm.
No. And the county has whatever value's there. And if you disagree with that value, you think it's higher, you can kind of go back to them
Yeah.
and say, hey, let's.
And that's market value
Yep.
of the structure. So I saw a home the other day that the home was, I think, valued at 275, and they were getting a check from the insurance people of 230, and then some more monies from insurance. So if the structure was worth 275 and you cut that in half with the 50% rule because they can't build back, I mean, you've already answered your question as far as I've got more than 50% because I just got a check for 230 or 40,000. So my 50% is a lot less than that. So, I think it's kind of hard to argue that,
Yeah.
no, I wasn't 50% or more destroyed
And you look at the forest too,
because I just got a check for 230.
yeah, look at the forest too, which we just listed one and put it under contract in 5 days. We just listed another one that's going live tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at some of the structural values, and some of them you're like, there's absolutely no way they're going to do it for 50%, and some of them are pretty close. So, you do kind of have a decision to make there, but do you want to build back in a house that had 3 feet of water in it at
Yeah.
the same height?
And what's the right thing for that property? Even though you might be able to build back, is that the highest and best use?
Right, and some properties do have a little bit higher elevation
Yeah.
than others, depending on when they were built.
Like we said last time, we've said it a couple times, ground level homes are going to be looked at a little bit different now after this storm.
And it all depends on your flood zone too, and your base flood elevation for that zone. Naturally, like the islands they have a much higher base flood elevation, where in towns a little bit less. So it's
Yeah.
not as big of an effect, but when the county tells you you're over 50% and you got to bring your property up 3 feet,
Yeah.
I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah.
On a ground level concrete slab home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got to tear it down.
Yeah. So insurance, that two-party check, if you have a mortgage, the 50% rule.
Those are going to be hot topics now into the foreseeable future.
You got some information coming out real quick, real soon by the county. I think it's going to come out in the next couple of days. Kevin Ruane. They're looking at some plans that have been adopted after
Yeah.
Hurricane Michael up in the Panhandle, Bay County. You can actually look at that online. The Bay County, I think it's Bay County. They had like a 370-page plan after the storm in detail of what they're going to do to hopefully prevent the
from happening
damage
again.
from ever happening again like that. And just better services, everything, not just about building, better services, everything for the community. So I think our county commissioners and our leaders out there that are going to come up with some good plans for us. They haven't come out yet, but they're working on them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the county websites, there's always new updates going on there. They're changing a lot of information and keeping it up to date.
Yeah.
And, just making sure everyone has the right information.
This time, during this time, we need great leaders. We need people that are going to do, not just talk.
Yep.
So not to get into that, but as far as us at McMurray members, we've had a bunch of sales. I think we've had about 12, 13 million so far since the storm. We've had 7 listings, I believe, 7 or 8 listings since the storm. Most of them we put under contract already. And we've got more listings and more sales coming up. We're all working on some deals, helping with our clients and just helping people make the right decision. We had a barbecue last week after Thursday's live. We had another one on Friday, serving the firefighters, the police, and owners, and just a lot of the workers. So we're doing that again tomorrow. We're gonna have a little bit of music with it. I hired a little bit of a DJ, country music, beach country, and then we've got our man Jackson, team member. We've never done door hangers in my 30 years of business. But we're doing door hangers, and not door hangers saying, hey, we want to list your home. It's how can we help you in this time?
Yeah, because
So
you need the
there's people that
experts,
need help.
people that have been in it for a while,
Yeah.
that believe in this town, that have been in this town for a while.
We had a call from someone that got the door hanger that said, I need a roofer. So we helped them with a roofer. There's a lot of people coming in from outside the area. You got to be real careful. And they're hey, you need a blue tarp. I've heard from your insurance company you needed a blue tarp. That wasn't the people that
Yeah, your insurance company is
they
probably
didn't
not
make that
sending
call.
somebody out there.
And it's just someone coming in trying to make a buck after they put the tarp on. So understand that there's a lot of people out there that are gouging.
And not everybody from out of state's bad. There's a lot of great people that
Yeah.
have come in to
Yeah,
help
definitely.
because we need the help because
Yeah.
we had shortage of labor and all that before. So
But you just gotta be aware that
yeah,
there is
make sure they're licensed.
Yeah,
and
licensed,
Have maybe
know
check
everything
them out
up
on
front.
Google.
Yeah. So I think that's it for me tonight. What do you got? Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're making progress, which is good to see. There's still, quite a few areas of town that are still a mess, but we're getting better, and people still coming together and all that, and people still need help. Not as much as probably before, but there's certain communities that are still in dire need that
Yeah.
had flooded houses and people lost their homes and they have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And they don't have the financial means
Yeah.
to just go to a hotel somewhere or something
Yeah.
like that. So,
Well,
still a lot of need in this town. So,
well, there's going to be for some time, and we're there to help.
Yep.
And there's a lot of other people out there helping. So just keep it up, everybody in Southwest Florida. For those of you that you are helping, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And we're right there. We're right there with you. McMurray members of Royal Shell Real Estate. Give us a call if we can help you in any way, not just buying or selling real estate, but if you have any questions about vendors, who to call, things like that, just give us a call.
yeah, questions about the 50% rule.
Yeah. If we don't know everything, we'll get the answers for you. We've got some great partners out there that can help and get us some answers that you might need, answered.
Yeah. See you on the next one.
Yep. Thanks, guys. That's it. Signing off.